Mr. Shannon Crowder, a pot can never call a kettle black. You are a certified square on the trick also. So in a recent interview on the Pivot podcast, one of the show hosts, Mr. Shannon Crowder, who is a former NFL athlete also, he decided to swerve out of his lane and voice his opinion on relationships. Now, well, one in particular, I should say, and that is the rather widely publicized relationship between Ciara and Russell Wilson. Now, the view that the brother gave was in fact a common one. Many in the black community felt the exact same way as Mr. Crowder did, that Ciara going from one extreme to the other seemed a bit odd as far as men are concerned, seemingly because typically, women have a tendency to like the same type of man just in various forms. However, there are a number of factors that Mr. Crowder failed to realize or take into consideration prior to making this statement, of course. And this is mainly due to a lack of game or a lack of information on his part, which brings me to my first initial point, that is. Now, Mr. Crowder was oblivious to the fact that he is in fact in the same boat as a Russell Wilson, and that is one of a square and a trick. Oftentimes in society, people in general have a tendency to be able to critique and reprimand others, which typically leads to a case of seeing the speck in someone else's eye, while you being able to, or unable rather, to identify the beam in your own eye. So let me point to a couple things rather. Outside of you being able to play football at an extremely high level, you 9 times out of 10 would not have the experiences that you've had with women. I look first at your speech and the speech patterns rather. In a recent interview that you guys did with Taylor Rooks, and this is hilarious if you haven't saw it, but you made a similar comment to Miss Rooks, as far as to where people understood what you were trying to say, or the real people understood what you were trying to say rather, but you were not eloquent enough in your speech to actually present what you were trying to say. So he asked, and I'm paraphrasing, if she feels the outfits and hairstyles that she wears affects her career, and if she immediately took offense to this, and she went in on him. I mean, she basically insinuated that, very passive aggressively, of course, but she insinuated that he didn't get any, that he was unqualified to be speaking on this. And then after it subsided, she even doubled back again to kind of, address this. So you could tell that she was offended. And if you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. But Ryan Clark, who is another host on the show, had to come in and save him. And he did a great job in doing so and how he did it. But, that's just what that communication does. But that encounter let me know that this would happen to him in a number of instances or scenarios when dealing with women. And he wouldn't be able to escape as easily as he did in this particular case. Now, secondly, Brody Real was toe up, and I could barely watch him talk. However, somebody cares about him, or they said that was hindering the money, because I just saw recently where he just went and got some veneers. So shout out to him for that. But these are just a few factors, and I could go on for days. But just after a brief analysis, no, son, you not like that. But he's never claimed to be like this. He's never claimed to be a Mac or anything like that. This just goes back to my original point. So even though the media is enraged for other reasons about the statements that he made, concerning Russell Wilson and things of this effect, my take is that you are unqualified altogether to be speaking on Russell Wilson when you yourself are in the same boat. On a final note, I do know that, he's a bit sharp. I can tell this, even though he look like he got CTE and things like this, he's sharp because I see his name at the top of every episode, like he owns it. And he knows how to grab headlines, and he knows how to go viral as well. So he's definitely doing something right. But, that's my take on it. Definitely tap in, tell me what you think, and be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and, shout out to the Pivot podcast. If you haven't, definitely go check them out. I like what they got going on over there. But until next time, be blessed.